Hello, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be answering the question, how would I judge RuPaul's Drag Race UK Season 6? The season just finished airing, and in my opinion, it was one of the best UK seasons. Let's get into it. In the first episode, no one went home, so I obviously kept that the same. Originally Kyron and Lawa were in the top two, but I decided to switch Lawa with Lil. Lil's performance was funny and unexpected, and I think she should have been in the top two. As for the tops, I only switched Kiki Snatch with Sakiyu. I was surprised Saki wasn't even high, because she was my third favorite. I love Kiki, but I had to choose one person to be just safe, and I decided to go with her. Kyron did a great job in the lip sync, so I still gave her the win. Now, let's move on to the second episode, which was the design challenge. Unfortunately, Sakiyu had to leave the competition, cause of the injury. I kept Kiki and Octavia in the bottom two, as they clearly struggled the most, but in the low placement, I decided to put Chara T over Zahira. They were both fine, but I just preferred Zahira's dress. Chanel, Marmalade, and Lil destroyed this challenge. If it wasn't lip-sync for the win, I think Marmalade should have won, but since they all have to lip-sync, Lil is still gonna win, as her performance was the best. Episode 3, the acting challenge. I completely agree with Kyron's win. She was absolutely hilarious. I also kept Relisa and Marmalade in the top, but you can also make an argument for Lawa being there. Originally, Kiki Snatch and Dita had to lip-sync, but I don't agree with Kiki being in the bottom here. Yes, her runway was bad, but I don't think her performance was. Chanel was on the screen for 10 seconds and in my opinion didn't do well, so I decided to put her in the bottom. Also, I just want to say that I really like Chanel because she's so self-aware and she's a great seamstress and great drag queen in general. I think lip sync would be close and I think Chanel would stay and Dita would still go home, unfortunately. It's time for the girl groups, and y'all gonna be mad, but I didn't give Relisa the win. Kiki absolutely destroyed this challenge and was my absolute favorite. My only critique for Relisa is that I didn't like the fact that the wig was covering her eyes the whole time, but it's a small thing. Kiki's runway, as Michelle said, was the best out of all the runways she wore, so she's gonna win. I also loved Kyron's performance, and her top placement was absolutely deserved. As for the bottoms, I decided to put Chanel low over Marmalade. Zahira and Lil are still gonna lip sync, and unfortunately Zahira is still gonna be eliminated here. I love Miss Zahira, and I wanted her to be in the top 4, but it is what it is. Episode 5, the Graham Norton Show. It was Lawa's episode. You can tell this is what she's doing because she was so good at it. I kept Marmalade in the top, but originally Lil was also there. I switched her with Relisa because I think she did better. I completely agree with the bottoms. Chara T is still going to be low, and Octavia and Kiki are going to lip sync. This was one of the best lip syncs from this season, but I do think Octavia did slightly better. We have to say goodbye to Kiki Snatch, but in this timeline she at least has a win. The next episode was the Snatch game, and I completely agree with the judges. Kyron and Lawa did the best, so I kept them both as the winners. Chara T was also amazing, but her runway was the least good out of the three, so she's gonna stay high. As for the bottoms, I also didn't change anything. Octavia could have been just safe, but if someone is gonna be low, it's gonna be her. Chanel and Relisa struggled the most, so they are still in the bottom, which means Chanel is the one going home, as Relisa definitely won the lip sync. It's time for the Rizzical, and truly no one flopped here. This is literally one of the strongest casts, because everyone did well. I don't agree with the winner though. Marmalade absolutely destroyed this challenge, and should have won. Kyron, Lawa, and Relisa are going to be high, as all of them did such a good job. Originally Lil was in the bottom, which I don't necessarily agree with. I actually enjoyed her. They didn't like the fact she was giving low energy, but for me, she definitely did better than Chara T. Also, when everyone did great in the challenge, we should also look at the runways. Chara's runway was one of the weakest, while Lil's was one of the strongest. I have no idea who would stay here, but I decided to go with Chara because it was clearly Octavia's time to go. In the top 6 we had the makeover challenge, and once again I agree with the judging. Marmalade deserved to win this, and all of the high queens also did really well. Even Relisa and Chara T did good, they just were the least good. Relisa is such a good lip-syncer, so there is no surprise she's gonna stay, and unfortunately Chara T is gonna be eliminated here. It's time for the roast, and I also agree with pretty much everything. Lawua did do the best, but originally both Marmalade and Kyron were safe. I think Marmalade should have been high and Kyron low. You can make an argument for Kyron to be in the bottom, but for me, Relisa and Lil were the correct choices. It's so sad because we have to say goodbye to Lil. She was one of my favorite queens from this season, and I want to see her back as fast as possible. It's time for the finale, but if you didn't watch it yet and you don't want to know who won the season, turn the video off because I will be talking about the winner. So, we have the same top 4 as in the original outcome, but going to the finale, everyone knew it was between Lawua and Kyron. Here Marmalade also has a good shot of winning since she has 2 wins and no bottoms. In the performance they all did good, but I feel like the audio mixing was not the best, and they kind of fucked Relisa because I could barely hear her singing as the audio was too loud. As for the final runway, they all ate that up, and if I had to pick my favorite look out of the top 4, it would be Marmalade. But are we surprised? She had one of, if not the best runway package of the year. It's time for the final lip sync, and originally Relisa and Marmalade were cut, but I decided to cut only Relisa. You can call me biased, but Marmalade hands down deserved to lip sync for the crown as well. The time has come. The winner of RuPaul's Drag Race UK Season 6 is Kyron Thrax. I was so happy when she won because she absolutely killed the season, and I was rooting for her since the very beginning. I knew of her before she was announced to be on the season, so I was so excited, and I just knew she was going to be absolutely unstoppable. Lawua also did great, and I thought she was going to win. When she lip-synced against Kyron in the first episode, Kyron absolutely destroyed her, but in the lip-sync for the crown, it was really close, so really both of them could have won. Congratulations to Kyron. And what do you think? Did you enjoy the season? And who are you rooting for? Let me know in the comments.